1 second, Israel. We're gonna get it started in a minute. Shalom, Israel. Y'all by Shem Al Shabrak thumb to the brothers. Y'all Shemal thumb by Shem Al Shah to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Y'all of the Isupk. This is the Monday night history class. As you can tell by the title, we're gonna be going over Father's Day, which I believe was yesterday, Juneteenth this past weekend as well, and then I'm gonna go over birthday. You understand? Like Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have to understand the history of the things that we celebrate and how this is not our culture that they pushing on us in this empire. You understand? So lock in. Give me 1 second. Trying to find the article. We're gonna get into Father's Day first, right? Mm, lock in. Okay, shall bear with me. I believe this is it. 1 second, Barbara Shaw. Okay, kind of is a good one, right? What is Father's Day? Everything to know about the holiday's rich history, including when it first started. You understand? So this article is giving the history of Father's Day and how it came about. Right? No matter how hard you try to stay ahead of the game, Father's Day always finds a way to sneak up on you. The time you're wondering when you have to have your Father's Day gift, homemade cards, activities, ready for your number one God. Keep this fact in mind. Father's Day is always celebrated on the third day in June in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and other countries, which means this year's holiday will take place on June 20th, 2001. This is an article from a year ago, right? Keep that in mind. It says, keep this fact in mind. Father's Day is always celebrated on the third Sunday in June, right? The annual holiday was started by Sonora Smart Dodd a few years after Mother's Day was first celebrated to establish an official equivalent to Mother's Day for male parents, per history.com. So, Father's Day origins is deeply rooted in the Mother's Day origins, right? So basically, a few years after Mother's Day was set up as a holiday, you understand, they figured, okay, let's even the playing field and look out for some of the fathers. You understand? Let's basically give fathers a holiday to be celebrated. You understand? Which is basically the same thing for worshiping Mother's Day or celebrating Mother's Day. They just made it for fathers, just to kind of make it even. You understand? So in order for you to have Father's Day or celebrate your father, we had to celebrate our mothers. You understand? As far as this holiday in America and Canada and the United Kingdom is concerned. You understand? So, with that being said, in order to find out the origins of Father's Day, due to Father's Day coming as a day for the fathers, due to it always already being a Mother's Day in place, we would have to go to the origins of Mother's Day. You understand? So Father's Day becomes a holiday because they have a holiday called Mother's Day. So what's the origins of Mother's Day? You understand? And when we go into the origins of Mother's Day, which is the root of Father's Day, then you will find out that Mother's Day, as well as Father's Day, because it comes from Mother's Day, is the worship of another God. You understand? So, Salakia, bear with me, Israel. I'm going to find this other article. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the class. The water for y'all rocking with me. Rocking with the channel. Okay, let me see if I got this. Mm, this is it. I believe this is it. Salakia, Israel, just bear with me a second. Internet kind of moving slow. Okay, Most High in Christ. This is the article that I had earlier. All right. The real reasons we celebrate Mother's Day. You understand? Like I just read to you in the last article, you can't have Father's Day without Mother's Day. And this article from history is going to give you the origins of Mother's Day, which in turn is the birth of Father's Day. All right. So, Lakia, bear with me. Right off the bat, we need to make one thing clear. Mother's Day and Mothering Sunday are not the same thing. And in the case of the latter, even the pagan lineage is questionable, which that is a lie. Mothering Sunday and Mother's Day is absolutely the same thing, right? Agreed. Both the ancient Greeks and Romans worship mother goddesses at springtime. The Greeks had Rhea, right? The wife of Kronos to praise, and from 250 BCE, excuse me, the Romans honored the Roman goddess Magna Mater, all right? But these were goddesses, not human beings. And to confuse things even more, Mothering Sunday in the UK is somewhat of a 16th century afterthought tacked onto what was originally Later Sunday, the fourth Sunday of Lent, right? So basically, what they're saying is that Mother's Day and Mothering Sunday, they have similar they have similar they have similar things about them. You understand? Which the reason why they have similar things about them is because it's the same thing. You understand? And it says in the article, it says ancient Greeks and Roman worship mother goddesses at springtime, and we're gonna get into the origins of that, right? So in springtime, right? These Romans and these Greeks, they worship mother goddesses. You understand? And we're gonna get into where they get this worship of a mother goddess. You understand? You have to understand, right? Idolatry or idol worshiping, you understand, is either worshiping a statue, some type of substance, anything besides God. But a lot of times it came from worshiping an actual person that walked on planet Earth. You understand? However, Lent does have its foundation in paganism, as is referred to in the Bible, just to make it even more confusing. So let's begin there. In Ezekiel 8:14, there is a reference to women who weep for Tammuz. The Tammuz in question was a sun god who was killed at age 40 by a wild boar. He was the sun god Nimrod, well, sort of. Now, let's break that down a little bit, right? So they basically saying that the origins of the fourth Sunday of Lent is Salakia, not the fourth. The origins of these mother goddesses being worshipped in Greek and Roman cultures, they actually come from the fourth Sunday of Lent, right? Then it says, however, Lent does have its foundation in paganism and is referred to in the Bible just to make it even more confusing. So let's begin there, right? So this fourth Sunday in Lent, right, or the worship of this mother goddess, you understand, is originated in the scriptures. Now, the scripture that it quoted was Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 14. So let's go there. You understand? Because a lot of people don't understand that what you do today has an origin thousands of years ago. You understand? And the same gods that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans worship unbeknownst to themselves actually are the same gods that we worshiped back in the past during the times of the captivity in Babylon and ancient Egypt, the captivity up under the Greeks, the Romans, so forth and so on. You understand? So let's go to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. All right. Right. Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, and verse 14. So, like him start at verse 13. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. You understand? Now, Ezekiel is being showed these abominations that the children of Israel got going on in the times of him being a prophet of the Lord. You understand? Verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate. It's a lot of you. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Right now, we seeing like I'm just paint the picture for you, right? During the time of Ezekiel, like we Salakia, let me see. During the time of Ezekiel, which captivity is this? I'm I believe this is. I don't want to. Don't quote me because I haven't read the book of Ezekiel in a minute. But I believe this is during the the Babylonian captivity. Salakia. This is during the Babylonian captivity, right? Now, in the times of the Babylonian captivity, we do understand not just the Babylonian captivity, but any captivity that the Israelites have been a part of. These heathens bestowed or their customs unto us. You understand? Like we wasn't, it wasn't made law for us to keep their customs until the Greeks and the Romans came about. But we did keep the customs of the heathens that we was enslaved to. You understand? Now I'm gonna read that verse again. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, and verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Now, Tammuz is a descendant of Nimrod. I believe that this was his physical son, right? Now, or someone of the same lineage of him, but more than likely his physical son. You understand? Now, let me read this article again, right? This paragraph in this article again. However, Lent does have its foundations in paganism and is referred to in the Bible, right? In Ezekiel 8, chapter 8 to 14th chapter, there's a reference to women who weep for Tammuz. Tammuz in question was a sun god who was killed at age 40 by a wild boar. He was the son of Nimrod, sort of, right? Now, let's find out who Nimrod was in the scriptures. We're going to go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. So like it. Genesis, Genesis, the 10th chapter. Come, Most High Christ. All right. Genesis, the 10th chapter, and we're going to start at verse 6. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, and verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. Now, Ham is one of three sons of Noah. You understand? Ham is the forefather of all of the African nations. Your Egyptians, your Libyans, Egyptians, Libyans, the original Libyans and Egyptians, the Canaanites, and Salakia. Egyptians, Libyans, Canaanites, and Ethiopians. Salakia, how could I forget them? Because these are the people that we're talking about, right? And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabteka, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Now, Cush begat Nimrod, meaning Nimrod was a descendant of Cush, right? Cush wasn't the actual physical son of Nimrod, you understand? But he was a descendant of one of Nimrod's sons, because look, right? Genesis 10 and 7, and the sons of Cush, Sabah, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabteka, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan, right? So now you have all of Cush's sons mentioned in the 7th verse of the 10th chapter of Genesis. And then it says, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. So Nimrod is a descendant of Cush, which is the forefathers of the Ethiopians, the Somalians, and the Djiboutians, right? These is all tribes of Africans that dwell in East Africa, and they inhabited the land of Cush, number one, but they also inhabited a lot of places in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia and Mesopotamia, which Mesopotamia was a part of the Babylonian Empire. You understand? And this is also where the Chaldeans and those sort of people come from, which also where Abraham came from. But Abraham is not of the sons of Ham. Abraham was a Shemite, but that's a whole nother breakdown. So anyway, you got Cush. He is a descendant of Salakia. You have Nimrod, which is a descendant of Cush, which is one of the sons of Ham, right? So now let's read a little bit more about this. All right. Keep Cush in mind. Keep Ham in mind. Keep Salakia. Keep Nimrod in mind, and keep Babylon in mind. All right. Okay. Nimrod's wife, Semiramis, became pregnant following an affair at around the same time Nimrod died. In order to assuage Salakia, assuage and any suggestions of her unfaithfulness, Semiramis claimed that at the time of his death, Nimrod used sun rays to impregnate her. It's worth pausing to note that Tammuz was considered to have been divinely conceived, which probably forms the basis of the Immaculate Conception. And that absolutely is the basis of Immaculate Conception, but that's a whole another breakdown too. You understand? So now you have Nimrod, right? He got a wife named Semiramis, and she so-called got pregnant by a sun god, you understand, or got pregnant by him that was worshipped as the sun god. Now let's go back to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. All right. Go back to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. Ezekiel 8, and I'm starting at verse 14 again. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. So now you got Israelite women at the gate of the Lord's house, the Lord's temple, you understand, weeping for Tammuz, who was supposed to be a descendant of Nimrod and Semiramis, according to this article. You understand, right? Now, and according to the scriptures, right? So now, verse 15. Then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. So he like, you see this? Man, look again. Look this way. You're gonna see some more abominations. You're gonna see greater abominations than this, right? Verse 16. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs towards the temple of the Lord and their faces toward the east, and they worship the sun toward the east. Right now, these men that was in the temple of the Lord on the porch, they worship the sun towards the east. Right. So now you got sisters in front of the temple weeping for Tammuz, right? Which is supposedly the son of Nimrod, right? And we're going to get into who Semiramis was to Nimrod other than his wife. You understand, right? And then you got brothers sitting up there worshiping the sun. And I'm going to show you why they was worshiping the sun. You understand? See? I'm going to read this article one more time. Because what I just read to you was you got brothers sitting up there worshiping the sun, but it's a reason why they was worshiping the sun. And the same reason why they was worshiping the sun is the same reason why the sisters was in front of the temple weeping for Tammuz. We'll read that again. Right? However, Lent does have its foundations in paganism and is referred to in the Bible So let's begin there. In Ezekiel 8:14, there is a reference to women who weep for Tammuz. The Tammuz in question was a sun god who was killed at age 40 by a wild boar. He was the son of sun god Nimrod, well, sort of. So when these brothers is sitting up there worshiping the sun or the sun god, like these sisters is weeping for Tammuz, they are literally worshiping Nimrod as a god, thinking that Nimrod is the son and the god of heaven and earth. You understand? It's the same exact thing. And the worship of Nimrod comes from his mother. You understand? So Salaki, we're gonna get some more. His mother slash wife. Nimrod's wife, Semiramis, became pregnant following an affair at around the same time Nimrod died. In order to assuage any suggestions of her unfaithfulness, Semiramis claimed that at the time of his death, Nimrod used sun rays to impregnate her. It's worth pausing to note that Tammuz was considered to have been divinely conceived, which probably forms the basics of the Immaculate Conception, right? Anyways, so Ramesses maintained that Tammuz was indeed the reincarnated Nimrod, making her both his wife and mother. You understand? Now, so Ramesses was literally Nimrod's mother. You understand? And let me see. Did I skip over that in the article? I'm gonna just keep reading. All right. Anyway, so Ramesses maintained that Tammuz was indeed the reincarnated Nimrod, making her both his wife and his mother. All in all, Tammuz was a big deal to the pagans, so much that they mourned his passing for 40 days, one for each of his years on planet Earth. This is why these sisters were sitting up there mourning for Nimrod. I mean, Salakia, mourning for Tammuz in front of the temple because they were worshiping Tammuz. You understand? They was worshiping him, the son of the sun god, just like the brothers was worshiping Nimrod because he was thought to be a sun god, and this all comes from Babylonian culture. Salakia. Salakia. And this was all from Babylonian culture. You understand, right? Which is the origins of Mother's Day because let me get the rest of that. Where was I? Okay, now let's break this down, right? Here you got the worship of Nimrod, right? Then you have the worship of his son, right? And the weeping for Tammuz, right? Which was supposedly Nimrod's son or Nimrod reincarnated. And then you have our people during the time of the Babylonian captivity, us worshiping these people. You understand? Now, let's break this down, right? Nimrod was the son slash husband of Semiramis, right? Semiramis, Salakia, give me 1 second. Slovakia. Okay, where was I? Okay. So you got the worship of Nimrod, which was supposedly the sun god, and then you got our sisters weeping for Tammuz, which was supposedly the son of Nimrod or Nimrod reincarnated, that comes from him impregnating his own mother, and our sisters weeping for him being killed by a wild boar. The reason why our sisters are weeping for him being killed by a wild boar is because Semiramis being the mother of Nimrod and the mother of her son and grandson, because she had a child by her own son, she instituted the worship of her son because her son was the king of the world at that point in time. We're gonna go back to Genesis, the 10th chapter, right? Nimrod is the heathen that instituted Nimrod is the heathen that instituted the creation of the Tower of Babel and all nations coming together, and he was basically the king of the earth at that one point in time, right? It's the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod, right? Nimrod was a Cushite. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. So Nimrod was the ruler of the planet Earth at that time. So like this light keep going out. Nimrod was the ruler of the planet Earth at that time, right? So him being a ruler of planet Earth at that time, this is a nasty, filthy heathen. They don't have the laws that the children of Israel had. So this dude slept with his own mother. You understand? And when he died, she was pregnant by him. In this article, it says that she had an affair, which was probably true as well. But from past history, it's a known fact that Nimrod literally had sex with his mother, and she conceived a son from him. You understand? Right? So after Nimrod's passing, she institutes the worship of him, right? And then when his son dies, she institutes the worship of her by basically mourning for her offspring that she lost. You understand? And this is your origins of Mother's Day. Now let's read more on it so we can get to the slide. Did I go over that? Okay, I already went over that. So Semiramis being worshipped basically as the mother god. This is the same thing as Latino, a lot of our Latino brothers being Catholics and worshiping the Virgin Mary. You understand? The same story of immaculate conception comes from Semiramis, Nimrod, and Tammuz. This is the same exact story repackaged up and regurgitated to the public with different characters. You understand? Like you hear the saying, all roads lead to Rome. Well, really, all roads lead to Babylon because Greek Roman mythology is all deeply rooted in the people that were Babylonians. You understand? The original rulers of the planet Earth, which were the Cushites, your so-called Ethiopians, Somalians, Djiboutians. You understand? These people are the originators of Mother's Day. You understand? And it's literally the same holidays just repackaged to our people and given to us in different times of history, called by a different name. You understand? So now, to sum it up, you got Nimrod being a king over planet Earth at that time, right? Nimrod has sex with his own mother, she conceived a son by him, or by another man that she had an affair with. I mean, it could have been either or. These heathens ain't got no laws against that type of stuff, right? So Nimrod being the king of planet Earth at that time, the the custom of heathen nations is to have a queen as well with them. So you got King Nimrod, Queen Semiramis. Nimrod dies, she still has the power over the people in her hand. So what does she do? She institutes that we worship Nimrod as a sun god. She says that Nimrod, the sun god, right, gets her pregnant with his rays. She has offspring by Nimrod. He dies, and then she institutes that everybody keeps worshiping Nimrod and worship her in turn. They have to weep for her son. You understand? Now let's go into a little bit of the some more worship of Nimrod. Let's go to Jeremiah the 10th chapter. All right. Mm, That's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word of the Lord. So like hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, right? This is the Lord telling us to not learn the ways of these heathen. And they dismayed at the signs of the Salaki, the signs of heaven. You understand? And basically, we ain't supposed to do what they do. You understand? As I just broke down, Father's Day origins are deeply rooted in Babylonian culture with Nimrod, Tammuz, and Semiramis. You understand? Which became Greek culture, which became Roman culture, which is now American culture. You understand? The Lord said we ain't supposed to be doing that. For the customs of the people are vain. The customs of these damn people are vain. You understand? And when you get, I'm gonna read more on this chapter, but this is also giving you the origins of Christmas as well. That's a whole nother breakdown, you understand? But this is also going to give you the origins of Christmas as well, right? For the customs of the people are vain, meaning they mean nothing. The customs of these heathen nations don't mean anything, you understand? Uh, Salakia. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. You understand? Now, this cutting a tree out of the forest, that's the workman in the hands of the axe, is the original worship of Christmas. You understand? Like after Nimrod died, Semiramis, his mother slash wife, instituted that they are supposed to worship him by cutting down an evergreen tree, right? Putting it in their house and decorating offerings with those decorations, you understand, to give to her when she come around to come collect the taxes or the offerings or the money that you had to give to her, symbolizing your allegiance to her son slash husband. You understand? Symbolizing you worshiping what she worships, symbolizing you taking on to her customs. You understand? And if you didn't do that, she'd chop your head off and put it on the top of that damn tree. That's where the star on the tree comes from. You understand? But Jeremiah the 10th chapter, verses verses one verses 1 to 5 explains to you the origins of Christmas, the customs of Christmas, on cutting down the Christmas tree and you decorating and all of that nonsense. But the reason why this is talking about this in the scriptures is because this was one of the original ways that our people learned to worship Nimrod, you understand, obey the authority of his mother and weep for Tammuz, their son, you understand? And this is the origins of Father's Day, right? This is the origins of Mother's Day. You understand? And our people celebrate these ancient days unknowingly, you understand, because they don't actually know the history of these days, because we've been in captivity to another nation that actually worship these other nations that had us in captivity many moons ago. You understand? Salaki, I'm gonna drop Father's Day. You understand? All in all, Father's Day is a spinoff of Mother's Day, which the origins of Mother's Day is in the book of Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, verses 14 to Salaki, verse 14 to 18. You understand? And this is all the worship of uh heathens and their gods and their customs. You understand? But Salaki, I'm gonna drop that. Let's get into the worship of oneself, aka your birthday. And we're gonna get the we're gonna get birthday worship in the scriptures as well. And I'm gonna show you a couple of incidents where some evil stuff happened on worshiping a couple of people's birthdays in these scriptures. You understand? Shalakia. But before I get to that, let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1. Right? Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and a day of death, Salaki, and a day of death than the day of one's birth. You understand? The day of death is better than one's birth according to our customs. You understand? Because we've been through so many captivities, we've been through so much hell and turmoil, not just here in this empire, but the empires in the days past. And like I just read to you in the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, when the Lord says, learn not the way of the heathens. Our customs are not the customs of these heathens. You understand? And I'm gonna get into uh, uh, I'm gonna get into the first count of somebody celebrating their birthday in these scriptures, and it was not us. You understand? This is actually comes from Egyptian culture, which comes from Babylonian culture, which is the origins of Christmas actually being Nimrod's birthday, not Christ's birthday. You understand? Like I said, all roads lead back to ancient Babylon. You understand? But let's I found an article, right? Article is titled The Satanic Bible and Birthdays, the Idolatry of Self-Esteem, the Highest of Satan's Holy Days slash Holidays. You understand? Right? If you don't know, the Church of Satan, and the Satanic Bible was created by some evil ass. I was about to call him a word that they gonna flag me for, but by some evil devil. You understand? Some evil Caucasian devil in San Francisco in 1969. He started the religion called so like he started a church called the Church of Satanism, and he came out with a Satanic Bible. You understand? And some key points on how to be a proper Satanist. He was an idol worshiper. He was a homosexual. He was a child molester. He was all of that, and he looked up to a devil named Aleister Crowley, which is his motto or famous his famous motto was "Do what thou wilt." I know a lot of people seen that picture of Jay-Z back in the day that had a, hoodie on that says "Do what thou wilt," meaning do whatever the hell you want to. You understand? If you want to eat this, you want to have sex with that, go ahead and do whatever the hell you want to, which is totally against the scriptures. You understand? Thus, celebrating your birthday is totally against the scriptures because number one, it's not our culture, it's not our customs. This is a custom of some heathens. You understand? Starting off in Babylon, then Egypt, and so forth and so on. You understand? But let's get what this article says about your birthday. The highest of all holidays in the satanic religion is the date of one own's birth. You understand? Salakia. This ain't even an article. This is out of the satanic Bible. You understand? This in direct contradicts to the holy of holy days of other religions, which deity a particular God who has been created in anthropomorphic form of their own image, thereby showing that the ego is not really buried. The Satanist feels, why not real why not really be honest? And if you are going to create a God in your image, why not create that God as yourself? Every man is a God if he chooses to recognize himself as one. So the Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year. After all, aren't you happier about the fact that you were born than you are about the birth of someone you never even met? Or for that matter, aside from religious holidays, why pay higher tribute to the birthday of a president or to a date in history than we do to the day we were brought into the greatest of all worlds? Despite the fact that some of us may not have been wanted, or at least were not particularly planned, we're glad, even if no one else is, that we're here. You should give yourself a pat on the back, buy yourself whatever you want, treat yourself like the king or god that you are, and generally celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. Now, this is coming out of the Satanic Bible. So, what these Satanists believe is the highest of high holy days that you can celebrate as a Satanist is the day of your own birth, meaning you should look at yourself as your own God. Like the God that created heaven and earth, the God of the children of Israel that brought you out of captivity, later for him. You should go ahead and celebrate your own self because you are your own God and you should be able to do whatever the hell you want to. You see how evil and wicked that sounds? And this is a Bible created in not a Bible, but a satanic Bible created by some devil, you understand, in San Francisco, California in 1969 that was just totally against God. I mean, all devils are against God, you understand? But he was outward with it. You understand? He didn't want to beat around the bush like your Catholic priests, you understand, or these so-called pastors that these Caucasian pastors be trying to present themselves like they real men of God. He didn't give a damn about nobody believing in him being a man of God. He thought to say, look, I'm my own God. All that you reading the Bible and you going to church, man, I'm not even finna pretend to y'all. It is what it is. You understand? I'm my God. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to, and I dare anybody to combat that. You understand? And so many people have took on the worship of Satan unbeknownst to themselves that it's ridiculous. Now he said, why celebrate somebody else's birthday that you don't even know? You understand? Why celebrate a historic event that you don't even know about that you had nothing to do with? You might as well just celebrate your own birthday. You understand? And what he say? He said you should give yourself a pat on the back, buy yourself whatever you want, treat yourself like the king or god that you are, and generally celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. Now let's break that down. When he said buy whatever you want, you understand? And he said buy whatever you want, give yourself a pat on the back, um, treat yourself like the king or god that you are. Now that's heavy. Treat yourself like the king or god that you are. That's heavy because we're gonna get into Egypt. You understand? And celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. Meaning, make your birthday grand on the biggest scale, on the highest altitude that you can do it. And what do niggas do on their birthday? Oh yeah, man, we about to rent out a club, or I'm about to have a barbecue. It's about to be bottle service. You understand? This is we going to this big gigantic nightclub. It's gonna be about 3,000 people at my birthday. Like these rich niggas that got a high social status and a lot of money in this country from shucking and jiving for their slave master. When you see these niggas' birthday parties be posted on social media, YouTube and Instagram, and all of these social media outlets, it's exactly what the Satanists tell you to do when it's your day of birth. They tell you to celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. And that's exactly what our people have grown accustomed to. When you celebrate your birthday, you understand? You want to have the nicest outfit, you want to buy yourself the newest toy, you understand, or the newest item that you can afford, you understand? You want your birthday to be so big and glamorous that your birthday got to be talked about for years. Well, this is deeply rooted in Satanism, you understand? And we're gonna get into the origins, you understand? Well, a little bit of history after the origins, because I just told you the origins of birthday worship is the worship of Nimrod, which we just read it in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, you understand? But let's go to Genesis, the 40th chapter. Let's give you a couple of historic events and some evil stuff that happened on some of these heathens' birthdays. You understand? Salagi, you could go to Genesis, the 40th chapter. I'm going to start at verse 1. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 40, and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers, and put them in the ward in the prison house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. Now, let me give you a little bit of history on what's going on, and I'm going to read to you what's about to take place. Joseph had a dream. You understand? I'm going to try to shorten it up as quick as I can. Joseph had a dream about him basically being praised by his brothers, Joseph being the second to the youngest out of all of the sons of Israel. He had a dream, you understand, about his brothers basically worshiping him and looking to him as a king, him being the second youngest, you understand? On top of that, Jacob, his father, whose later name was later changed in Israel, he gave him a coat of many colors, like he gave him like a special coat, you understand? Now, Jacob loved Joseph because Joseph was the youngest son at that time, one of the youngest sons at that time, but also his mother was basically the favorite wife that he had at that time, and she couldn't conceive for a long time. You understand? So now the brothers get mad about him spying on them, telling on them to their father and telling them that they ain't supposed to be doing what they doing. On top of that, he had this dream about them coming and falling at his feet and worshiping him. And they daddy gave him like a special coat that had a lot of colors, you understand, on the coat that he never gave none of them, you understand? So, long story short, they sought to kill him. You understand? The oldest boy, Reuben, he was like, nah, man, that's our brother. We can't kill him. We can go ahead and sell him to them Ishmaelites. So they sold Joseph to the forefathers of the Arabs, and they in turn sold him into slavery in Egypt. Joseph ended up working for the king. Joseph ends up being thrown in prison because the king's wife was basically she kept pressing Joseph for him to have sex with her. You understand? Joseph wasn't with it. You understand? She eventually lied and said that he tried to rape her. You understand? She caught him in the house while he was about to use the bathroom. You understand? And when she caught him in there for the use the bathroom, she was like, "Look, man, I'm feeling you. I want you to have sex with me." Joseph like, "Nah, I'm not with that." So he got up out of there. She her lust for Joseph was so bad that she like pulled on his garment and he got up out of there and she ripped a piece of his garment. So she used a piece of that garment to lie on Joseph and get him cast into prison. Fast forward to Joseph being in prison for some years. Now these two butlers, I mean, Salaki, these two officers of the king, the same king, they ended up doing something that made the king mad. So he threw them niggas in jail, right? So they ended up coming to jail with Joseph. You understand? These two dudes ended up having dreams, and Joseph had the Lord on his side, so he was able to interpret dreams. Now let's get into the dreams, right? Book of Genesis, chapter 40, and verse 8. And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. So they had these dreams. He like they telling Joseph like, look, man, we had these dreams. We don't even know how to interpret these dreams. We don't know what they mean. Joseph like, look, the Lord can interpret dreams. You understand? The only person that can tell you about a dream is the person that the Lord sets up to be able to have that ability, right? Reading on, verse 9. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were three branches, and was so like it, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The three branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when thou was his butler. So Joseph telling me, like, bro, in 3 days, you're going to go back and get your job. You're going to be up out of prison. You understand? That's what your dream meant. You understand? Verse 13. Salakia. Verse 14. But think, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of his house, out of this house, Salakia. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So he's like, look, man, when this dream that I interpreted comes to pass, man, don't forget about me. You understand? Try to get me up out of prison because I ain't done nothing wrong here. I ain't done nothing wrong to be in prison. You understand? And I ain't done nothing wrong to even be sold to y'all, right? Verse 16. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had three white baskets on my head. So now the other dude, he come to Joseph like, damn, this thing interpreted the dream. That shit good. Maybe my dream can be interpreted as something good. You understand? So he went to go holler at Joseph like, look, I had a dream too. It was three white baskets on my head. So this what Joseph told him, right? And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The three baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. So Joseph tell him the interpretation of his dream as well. And his dream ain't looking too good. You understand? He like, man, look, dude finna kill you. You understand? In 3 days, you gonna die, right? Verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday. Here we go, right here in the scripture. You understand? We reading about the Egyptian king and his birthday, right? That he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Verse 22, but he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. So on Pharaoh's birthday, when they kept his birthday, because what you do on your birthday, you got a big feast. Like if like for the most part, somebody gonna cook you a big ass dinner on your birthday, or you're going to go out to dinner to have a feast. You understand? Then you're gonna party and y'all gonna do it live and y'all gonna do it big because that's the customs of celebrating your birthday. You understand? You have a big event for your birthday. Well, this big event for the king's birthday, the king of Egypt at that time in Genesis the 40th chapter was for them to hang this dude by his head, just as Joseph interpreted the dream to say. Like they killed this man on Pharaoh's birthday. That was the day. He woke up in the morning. It's my birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday, Pharaoh. Oh yeah, for sure, man. Y'all go ahead and get my meal ready, you understand? Man, I'm feeling good today. What I'm gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna free him and I'm gonna kill the other dude. Yeah, I think that'll be sufficient. That's what I want to do for my birthday. You understand? And that's exactly what happened for the birthday of the king of Egypt. You understand? During the time of Joseph being in prison in Egypt. You understand? Up under these damn heathens. That's a custom. You understand? Found throughout the scriptures that somebody dies on people's birthdays. You understand? So, like, I'm gonna drop that story. Let's get into Nimrod's birthday. You understand? Let's get into Nimrod's birthday. If you could, Baba Kashab, turn with me to Matthew the 14th chapter. Matthew the 14th chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 6. All right. So we got two people killed. So like one person killed on the king of Pharaoh's birthday. I mean the king of Egypt, Pharaoh's birthday in the Old Testament. Now let's look in the New Testament. This king in these times is Herod, which he's a Caucasian man. You understand? Herod is a Roman. You understand? Pharaoh was an Egyptian. You understand? So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 6. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod, right? So the daughter of Herodias is Herod's niece. And she's doing kind of like a seductive dance, you understand, for them, which was orchestrated and set up by her mother, which Herod eventually started to sleep with his own brother's wife, you understand? And this is basically his niece slash stepdaughter doing a seductive dance for him, trying to persuade him to do something for her mother, you understand? Salakia. Whereupon he promised an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. So she did this seductive dance so good for him and seduced him so much, enticed him so much that he made a promise to her that he'd give her whatever the hell she wants. You understand? Verse 8. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. Now, the reason why Salakia, what was the sister's name? I forget. Herodias, right? Herodias was a Israelite sister, right? She was Salakia. Now, yeah, Herodias was a Israelite sister, you understand? She ended up having a child by a Edomite, a white dude, you understand? And when she had a child by this white dude, Herodias was the child's name, you understand? So she eventually basically just married into this family and followed their customs. And eventually she started dealing with his brother, right? So now, Herodias, she hated John the Baptist, right? Because John the Baptist was against, first of all, John the Baptist was against these heathens being over us. You understand? And us taking on their customs. But also, he was against these heathens acting like they were Israelites and acting like they was trying to keep Israelite customs. So what he did was, I'm gonna jump up. I'm gonna jump up. I'm gonna jump up to verse. I'm gonna jump up to verse 3. For Herod laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. You understand? So Philip is the brother of Herod. Herodias is Philip's wife, who eventually started to have a sexual relationship with her husband's brother. You understand? Verse 4. For John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. So now, Herod, being the king of the Jews, which him being an Edomite, you understand? John the Baptist told Herod, like, bruh, it's not lawful for you to have her. And the reason why he's saying it's not lawful for you to have her is because this is your brother's wife. That's adultery. You understand? So Herodias hated John the Baptist for this. You understand? And she wanted him dead behind this. So she devises a plan. Look, on Herod's birthday, she sent her daughter in there to go do a seductive dance for him to persuade him to give her what she wanted. And what Herodias wanted was John the Baptist's head. You understand? So jumping down back to verse 8. And she being before instructed of her mother said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it be given to her. So the king didn't want to do it, but he made a promise. You understand? Like on King Herod's birthday was the death of Christ, saying this was the greatest prophet that ever lived. Christ said John the Baptist was the greatest prophet to ever live up under him. You understand? And this great prophet, John the Baptist, who fell out of the truth, of course, before he was killed, you understand? He was murdered on a heathen's birthday. You understand? All the more reasons why Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, of course, it's not our custom to celebrate our birthdays. But if you look at the history on what happened to people, you understand, on somebody's birthday, it damn near resulted in murder all the time. Like I just explained to y'all during Nimrod's birthday, back in the times of ancient Babylon, if you didn't have your offerings on that tree to pledge your allegiance and worship to Nimrod, his mother / white supremacist was having them chop your head off and putting your head on the top of that damn tree. You understand? But we're gonna drop that. I'm gonna get into the origins of Juneteenth, and then I'm gonna go to the scriptures, and I'm gonna get y'all some scriptures, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Like it, bear with me. Okay. What is Juneteenth? Juneteenth, short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops, Salakia, give me 1 second. Okay, most high price, here we go. Juneteenth, short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be freed. The troops' arrival came a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth honors the end to slavery in the United States and is considered the longest running African American holiday. June 17, 2021, it officially became a federal holiday. Now let's break this down, right? The Emancipation Proclamation was uh, was signed in 1863, right? According to this article, right? So now the Proclamation, Salakia, was a document that says that basically outlawed slavery in the United States. You understand? Now, it took 2 years. You understand? For it took 2 years for federal troops to arrive in Galveston, Texas. You understand? To take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be free. You understand? So Juneteenth is basically the celebration of black slaves being emancipated and being freed out of slavery, so to speak, right? Confederate General Robert E. Lee has surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse 2 months earlier in Virginia, but slavery had remained relatively unaffected in Texas until U.S. General Gordon Granger stood on Texas soil and read General Orders Number 3. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. The Proclamation, Salakia. The Emancipation Proclamation issued by Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863, had established that all enslaved people in Confederate states in rebellion against the Union shall be thenceforth and free forever. But in reality, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't instantly free any enslaved people. Man, would you look at that? You understand? So in 1863, January 1st, the goddamn president, uh, uh, Abraham Lincoln, what it said, issued the Emancipation Proclamation. But it took 2 years for our people to actually be free. So what does that tell you? That means that Abraham Lincoln didn't give a damn about freeing black people. You understand? Let's go to the scriptures real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemies. The Lord said, don't trust your enemies. You understand? And this is a prime example why you shouldn't trust your enemy. You got Abraham Lincoln instituting the Emancipation Proclamation on January the 1st, 1863, but it doesn't go into effect until 2 years later. So that means from the day that Abraham Lincoln made it mandated and law that all slaves be free, 2 years went by of the same conditions. 2 years still went by of us picking cotton. You understand? Us growing their crops, of them torturing us, lynching us, slaughtering us. You understand? For their own gain and sport. You understand? That's why the Lord said, trust not your enemies. You understand? Reading on. Never trust your enemy, Salakia. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Iron is eventually going to rust, like it's inevitable. And inevitably, you're going to see the wickedness of your enemy and how much he hates you. You understand? I'm going to read some more on this article. But in reality, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't instantly free any enslaved people. The proclamation only applied to places under Confederate control and not to slave-holding border states or rebel areas. So the proclamation only applied to places under Confederate control, meaning only certain places in the South where this law passed actually was in effect. You understand? And it said, and not to slave holding border states or rebel areas already under Union control, right? So these other places, these slaveholding border states and these rebel states, they wasn't even affected by what the president of the United States said. And the reason why they wasn't affected by what the president of the United States says, because all of them is devils. You understand? Like Abraham Lincoln didn't give a damn about freeing slaves. This nigga had slaves his damn self. You understand? Salakia. Reading on. However, as Northern troops advanced into the Confederate South, many enslaved people fled behind Union lines. You understand? Like we was fighting so much to get away from that. When we seen Salakia, when we seen these Northern troops, like niggas start running away to go like basically just jump behind these damn troops so we can be protected and to be out of slavery, right? Juneteenth and slavery in Texas. In Texas, slavery had continued as the state experienced no large scale fighting or significant presence of Union troops. So slavery continued in Texas because it wasn't no wars breaking out behind them having slaves. You understand? Like these Union troops, they wasn't really in Texas like that. So business continued as usual. You understand? Many enslavers from outside the Lone Star State had moved there as they viewed it a safe haven for slavery. Man, look at that. If I'm a damn devil in Louisiana or one of these other states that the Emancipation Proclamation is it holds up weight in, all I had to do was move to Texas. You understand? For me to still keep my slaves and for me to still make money off of my cattle. You understand? Which was you understand black people. You understand? If I lived in a state that outlawed slavery, all I had to do was pack up and move to Texas. I mean, I've inherited most likely the bulk of my slaves from my father, and he probably got it from his father, and so forth and so on. So I got enough money to get the hell on. Like I mean, and you got to think about how heavy that is. All you had to do is just go to Texas to keep your slaves. I bet you damn near half of America probably went to Texas to keep their slaves. You understand? Reading on. After the war came to a close in the spring of 1865, General Granger's arrival in Galveston that June signaled freedom for Texas's 250,000 enslaved people. Although emancipation didn't happen overnight for everyone, in some cases, enslavers was held to information until after harvest season. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? When they came and enforced the Emancipation Proclamation, some of these slavers, some of these slave masters, like they didn't even tell their slaves or other people that had people enslaved that they was to free these slaves until after the harvest season, until after they can reap the benefit of all these crops that they had they slaves grow for them. They was basically like, yeah, well, I'm gonna get this one last harvest in, and then we'll let them niggas go. You understand? I gotta get this money. You understand? Because if I let these niggas go right now, who the hell gonna pick these acres of cotton? Who the hell gonna raise these sheep and these cattle? Who the hell is gonna put in this labor for me if I let all my damn slaves go? I'm gonna lose a lot of money. Me and my family gonna have to get out there and do this shit ourselves. So I get from my language. So let me go ahead and reap the benefit of this last harvest. You understand? So I can make as much money as I can, and then I'll let these niggas go. You understand? Mm. Celebrations broke out among newly freed black people, and Juneteenth was born. That December, slavery in America was officially abolished with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. And the 13th Amendment in the Constitution says if you commit a crime, you are going back into slavery. This is why they got the chain gang in the South. This is why you got so many industries that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans actually build up these industries behind prison walls because essentially they steal slaves after you commit a crime, thus of the 13th Amendment. You understand? So from 1863, January 1863, January 1st, 1863, all the way up until December of 1865 is how long it took for the Emancipation Proclamation to go into effect to free the slaves. You understand? And on top of that, they gave us the 13th Amendment, which says, I can enslave you if you have committed a crime. Look, the Caucasian man, woman, and child is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is only, this is deception upon deception. You understand? And the Lord, the Lord is going to revisit the sins of these damn people that they committed on his dear children. You understand? I'm gonna get some scriptures. I'm gonna drop this article, but you understand? Matter of fact, Salaki, I'm gonna read a little bit more. The year following 1865, freedmen in Texas, organized the first of what became the annual celebration of Jubilee Day on June 19th. In the ensuing decades, Juneteenth commemorations featured music, barbecues, prayers, services, and other activities. And as Black people migrated from Texas to other parts of the country, the Juneteenth tradition spread. You understand? Now, Black people celebrating us getting out of slavery, you understand, or so-called getting out of slavery, we came up with this to be a festival of us to basically celebrate us getting out of the hardship of actually working in the field for these damn oppressors. You understand? Like, Juneteenth is about our people actually getting a lighter burden of under these goddamn oppressors. You understand? Us being freed from physical bondage and slavery. You understand what I'm saying? So we celebrated with music, dancing, food, festivals, games, the same type of stuff that Black people have always done throughout history. Our celebrations are about us coming together with each other and basically celebrating us having a victory, so to speak. You understand? Now, these damn devils, they watched us celebrate Juneteenth, which was originally, it said it was called Jubilee Day, right? Which basically a day of us being free. You understand? Now these devils watched us celebrate this holiday for about amongst ourselves for shit, Salakia. Damn near 200 years or something like that. You understand? Now, in order for you to be a wise, like the scriptures say, the serpent was the most subtle beast of the earth. You understand? These damn devils have the same spirit of that serpent in the Garden of Eden. They so tricky and treacherous that they figure, damn, these niggas is doing all of this celebrating, you understand, for a day that they think that they got free. We can capitalize off of this. So the reason why Juneteenth, excuse me, was made a federal holiday last year is because your oppressor understands that he can make money off of your pain and suffering. You understand? So what they do is they create a national holiday for this. And now that this is a federal holiday, what can your oppressor do? He can capitalize off of this holiday just like he did off of Christmas, just like he does off the 4th of July, just like he does off of Valentine's Day, just like he does off of every so-called holiday in America. He can capitalize off of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans celebrating these wicked holidays because he'll be able to make money off of you. If Juneteenth is not a federal holiday, then what you gonna do? You're just gonna have a day of Black people celebrating us getting out of slavery. We're gonna cook our own food. You understand? We're gonna celebrate amongst each other, and it's just basically just gonna be some type of thing of ours. But for the devil to make this a federal holiday, he can have sales now. He can have commercials about Juneteenth. He can remind you about Juneteenth so you can prepare and set money aside to go buy everything that you need to have you a good Juneteenth so you can put a whole lot of money in this damn devil's pocket. That's what Juneteenth is about. Juneteenth is it's not a federal holiday because America cares about black people getting out of slavery. It's a federal holiday because the federal government knows that they can make money off of niggas. You understand? Nigga, what do black people like to do more than celebrate? You understand? So let's give them this holiday. Let's recognize this Juneteenth as a federal holiday, and in turn, we can make millions off of this. You understand? Because black people spend millions of dollars during Christmas time. Black people spend millions of dollars 4th of July for fireworks and pork ribs. You understand? And nice outfits and shoes and clothes. You understand? Why not give them another federal holiday so we can capitalize off of this by making money off of them because they want to celebrate so goddamn bad. You understand? And that's in turn what Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday is about. It's about the oppressor making another dollar off of you being his slave still. You understand? The slave is going to celebrate whatever the master tells you to celebrate. You understand? But I'm gonna get some scripts on it, and then we're gonna go ahead and end it. Get a couple of scripts. Go to the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 21. It's the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. The Lord is not with black people celebrating Juneteenth. You understand? Juneteenth is not of the Lord. The Lord didn't give you Juneteenth for you to celebrate black man, woman, and child. Your oppressor gave you that day to celebrate that. You understand? Your oppressor freed you out of slavery, so-called, and then we took it upon ourselves to celebrate us not being up under the foot of these people physically. You understand? And then 200 some odd years later, they make it a federal holiday to be able to conquer you even more and to make a lot of money off of you being in hell still. You understand? Like, black people celebrate Juneteenth, and it's going to become bigger. You understand, than what it was, because they gonna hit you with the commercials. They gonna hit you with the sales days. They gonna start throwing events for you. They like, mark my words, the oppressor next year, I guarantee you, the oppressor is going to start putting together money for events for you. He's going to use black people that look just like you to hype these events up and promote these events, and then he gonna charge you to get these events. He gonna pay your favorite singer slash rapper or entertainer to entertain you on these events, and he's going to make even more money off you. You understand? And that's what's going to keep going on. The Lord said he despises these feast days. You understand? The Lord ain't give us this. You understand? We celebrated ourselves, and now your slave master telling you, you should celebrate Juneteenth now because I'm making it a federal holiday, and I'll be able to make a whole lot of money off you niggas like I've been doing. But even that much more, since you're gonna celebrate you getting up out of the foot from up under the foot of me. You understand? And the Lord is not with that. Like I just read to you in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemies. You understand? For as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Like, you trust your enemy long enough, you're gonna see how much he really hates you. You understand? You're gonna see how much your oppressor really despises you, and either he wants to come up off you from monetary gain or he wants to slaughter you. You understand? Salakia, let me see. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Don't be jealous of your oppressor having a 4th of July. You understand? And him celebrating his independence from some other damn Edomites. And then we come up with the day of Jubilee, eventually renamed Juneteenth. And then he gives us a federal holiday for us to celebrate like he does on 4th of July for his country. You understand? The Lord said, envy thou not the oppressor. You understand? Don't sit back and be jealous of him. You understand? And choose none of his ways. Don't choose the oppressor's ways. You understand? We sitting back choosing his oppressor. And then what's going on Juneteenth? Niggas sitting there beer drinking excessive alcohol. Somebody's going to be murdered. Like last year on Juneteenth, we had camp at Lake Merritt in Oakland. You understand? Somebody got murdered at that Juneteenth event. You understand? Somebody got killed by gunfire at that Juneteenth event. You understand? That's because the Lord is not with these events that we celebrate other than the events that we supposed to celebrate that's in these scriptures. You understand? The Lord ain't gave you Juneteenth. The Lord gave you Passover. The Lord ain't give you 4th of July. You understand? The Lord gave you the feast of the blowing of the trumpets. You understand? With that being said, Yahweh by Shemi Hawashah Barak Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latham by Shemi Hawashah to the sisters. The Water Israel for rocking with me. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. You understand? We're trying to push this truth. And don't just share it onto a social media platform. You understand? Share this with a family member. Share this with somebody in the world that's actually interested in learning history. Share this with somebody that you think that this can do some justice for. You understand? Shalom, Israel.